There is that wave of U.S. airstrikes on the Iran-backed Houthi rebels. The U.S. wants the Houthis to just stop attacking ships in the region and other offensives that you just heard Ramey talk about. The Houthis describe the attacks as aiming to end the war between Israel and Hamas. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata joining us on the stream to talk about the role of something called CENTCOM and the end goal for the Defense Department. For those who haven't heard about CENTCOM, tell us what it is and what this objective is.
Yeah, well, CENTCOM is one of the combatant command regions, essentially. They call it the Area of Responsibility, AOR. And CENTCOM focuses on that Middle East region. So they've been very busy. In addition to that, EUCOM, just because of the way geography works, is off the coast of Israel. But in terms of what's happening with the Houthis, officials tell us, the end goal is simply to get the Houthis to agree to stop targeting U.S. naval ships and international commercial ships in that Red Sea region. Now, where this has become important again is because the fighting began on Saturday, and that was launched by U.S. forces, and it's been going on ever since. U.S. officials told me this morning it's ongoing. It includes launches of fighter jets off the USS Harry S. Truman carrier that Ramey just pointed out there, a number of destroyers as part of that carrier strike group. I can also confirm that the Houthis did launch that cruise missile headed toward Israel, but it was intercepted by Israel's missile defense systems before it got anywhere close to its target. So the initial phase of the attacks on Saturday, officials here tell us it struck 30 targets at multiple locations. It includes terrorist training sites, unmanned aerial vehicle infrastructure, weapons, manufacturing capabilities, storage facilities, and targets since then have included command and control centers and a terrorist compound, which is thought to have some of the individuals who are responsible for these UAVs, which have been incredibly effective. So this is a huge, dramatic escalation, and it's the first major military operation by this Trump administration.
Well, this also reports, Charlie, we understand from the Pentagon where you are, stepping up a role at the U.S. southern border. What form does this likely take? Charlie, can you hear me, my friend? Can you hear me now, brother?
Now I can, yes.
Okay,
yep.
I'll just repeat the question. We're talking about the reports of the Pentagon stepping up their role at the U.S. southern border. What form does that take?
Yeah. Okay, so this is part of a wider campaign to militarize the border, right? So we reported a few days ago that an additional 3,000 active duty troops, that's important to point out, active duty troops would be headed to the border. It includes Stryker vehicles, which I'm sure you're aware of, right, in your experience. That'll bring a number of troops at the border to 9,000. So Strykers actually haven't been at the border since 2012. So what they're talking about is setting up a temporary military installation or like a buffer zone near the border of New Mexico that might actually stretch out to California. Again, we're just talking hypotheticals at the moment. It does raise some legal questions, including the Posse Comitatus Act, which is a federal law that prohibits active duty troops from engaging in law enforcement. So in his announcement, Secretary of State Hegseth said the order of the deployment for that Stryker combat team and General Support Aviation Battalion, that's to reinforce current border security operations to seal that border and protect the integrity of the United States. What's also interesting is pretty important development. They're sending 2 U.S. destroyers, not to, obviously, the border of Mexico. That would be difficult, but to the Gulf of Mexico, renamed the Gulf of America. It includes the USS Gravely that is already steaming toward the region, not in position yet, and then another unnamed U.S. destroyer that will be headed from the West Coast, not exactly sure when it's going to arrive there. So, the Coast Guard is normally responsible for policing around that area. This is about optics. Destroyers aren't always just about, firing cruise missiles. They're also capable surveillance craft. So, and it's also a deterrent, obviously, and it will, according to the statement, will also be involved in drug interdiction.
All right, Charlie D'Agata, CBS News. We appreciate all of your reporting there from the Pentagon. So many pieces on the game board, so to speak. We know you're watching every one of them. Thank you so much.